What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be a review for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 4, episode 10. It ain't Beverly Hills yet. It is the Real Housewives of Dallas. I'm caught up. I was so excited that I'm caught up. I think I've been behind on this series since it started. Lord have mercy. So we on episode 10. I mean, I've been behind for 10 weeks on this series. And I like Dallas. I really do. It hasn't been the most exciting season, but I do like Dallas. So Leanne is married, y'all. I ain't no need prolonging it. We have the wedding, and it was a beautiful wedding. It really, truly was. I think that Leanne pulled out all the stops. I think she did whatever she put on her wish list, her vision board, her journals, whatever she's been saying she wanted her wedding to be. Her whole life is what it was. And she did it her way. She did it with no apologies. She clearly spent a lot of money. Now, I don't know how much of that was donations. But it was beautiful. And what I love Rich, she made a couple of jokes. I love what Rich said. He said, "You truly taught me how to love." Because we know this is Rich's third wedding. So, and I felt like he meant it. I do. I felt like he really meant what he was saying. His daughter was in the wedding. I thought that was great that he incorporated his daughter. And honestly, I feel like at one point the whole church was crying. It was beautiful. Leanne had this huge tiara on. Looked like it had emeralds in it. She said that her jewelry was in the millions. I don't want to quote it, but it was like either 1 point something million or 2 point something million. But she had the tiara, she had the earrings, and she had the bracelet to match. And it looked like it was diamonds and emeralds. But it was beautiful. Her mom did show up in enough time. She wasn't locked out the church, honey. Because I think Leanne meant that thing. I think Leanne meant that once this wedding starts, don't let nobody up in here. I think she meant that. Now, she said that the reason why she had the 4-hour interlude was so that she could go and have sex with her husband. You made me wait for 4 hours for the reception so you could go do something you've been doing for the last 10 years. Y'all been living together for 10 years. It ain't no different. It ain't no different. And it certainly ain't gonna be no different if we just do it tonight and you don't make me wait 4 hours. But neither here nor there, honey. She went through they had this Bentley. Not a Bentley, a Rolls Royce that they had rented. They went through the drive-through at the Rolls Royce with the Rolls Royce, honey, to get some footlong with chili cheese. And all I kept thinking to myself was, Leanne, if you spilled chili on that gown. But it don't matter because Rich told her she wasn't eating no chili in that car. He said, I don't care about your dress, but this car, I'm gonna get my deposit back on this. Oh, no, we won't be returning this car with no chili stains in the back seat. No, ma'am, no, sir. I ain't mad at you, Rich, because I was thinking the same thing. When she ordered damn chili cheese, I was thinking, I know she not about to eat them chili cheese foot long in the back seat of that car with that white dress on. But then they went back to the hotel, and I mean, it was cool. What I didn't realize was Rich, when he took his jacket off, the back of his vest was their picture. I thought that was really cute, even though nobody saw it because he didn't take the jacket off. So I don't know who saw it, but it was now maybe at the reception he took it off and he walked, because at the reception would have been nice if he walked around with that so people could see it at the reception. But neither here nor there. It was beautiful, and we got to the reception, and the one complaint it seemed to be was that there was no food at this reception. That they just had like a fruit, like a cheese and meat plate, cheese and salami or whatever. But they had living art. They had people hanging from the rafters on swings. When you got out the car, it was like a food truck, but you could order your drinks. I thought that was a cute idea that when you got out the car, it looked like it was a food truck, but you could order. I just said that, didn't I? I'm repeating myself. But anyway, I thought that was a cute idea. So as you're walking into the reception, you already got a drink in your hand. The cake was huge, and the new Carrie said that this just looked like her version of a carnival, honey. But again, it looked like that Leanne sat down with her wedding planner, gave a vision, and the wedding planner made it happen, and it looked gorgeous. It looked nice, and I'm happy for Leanne. Me and Leanne don't always see eye to eye, but honey, I'm happy for her because y'all know how Bravo is shady. So they started flashing back all the way back to season 1 when Tiffany, who I told y'all was on season 1, was talking about, when are her and Rich gonna finally get, she was joking with Rich, but serious, saying, when you gonna make a legal woman out of my friend type of thing. And then they just sort of spliced in all these different moments throughout the wedding of Leanne wanting to get married. So I thought that it was absolutely, I thought it was great. Nothing really monumental. Like, we saw everybody having a good time and getting along, and it was cool. It was really, really good. While that was going on the other side of town, we had Deandra and her husband having themselves a cook-off, honey. And she said, before I forget. Now, Leanne changed into this bad white bodysuit with a train on it for her reception. That thing was everything. Leanne, now, your dress and your reception outfit, you did that. It was beautiful. You did that. Okay. Now, anyway, back to Deandra and her husband. They did their thing on the other side of town. And Deandra said, if you had told me 5 years ago that not only would I not be in Leanne's wedding, but I wouldn't even be invited to Leanne's wedding, I would call you a liar. But here we are. And, it is what it is. I have no regrets. It is just the state of our marriage. Our friendship is just what it is at this point. And, I don't wish her any ill feelings. The other thing that kind of went down at the reception was Leanne's mama was trying to get close to Leanne, and she couldn't. Like, she was sort of, she was standing in line like everybody else to get a picture with her daughter, and it was sort of sad. But then they also showed a clip where her mother was saying that basically Leanne lying about being unwanted. She was never unwanted. She didn't grow up unwanted, blah, blah, blah. So they clearly have some issues they need to resolve. But Deandra having to cook off with her husband, it was cute. It was sort of a chopped thing. They did seafood and they showed them. It was cute. Date night with your hubby, Then we get to Brandy. Brandy is struggling with, we saw last week where Bruin is the baby's name, and thank you for the people who put it in the chat. I appreciate it. In my comments, I appreciate it. But we saw where she struggled with she's struggling with the idea of Bruin wanting to adopt his sibling so that he could basically grow up with his sibling. And her husband is like, look, you are overwhelmed already. And she said, I know, but I think, if I could just get a little more help. Well, no, she never said help. She said, I just think I can handle it. I just would feel really guilty. I would just feel really guilty if, we didn't, take the opportunity to allow him to be raised with his siblings. Now, the whole time this is going on, they're at lunch with Bruin, and Bruin is tearing that place up. But he's doing what a toddler does. My nephew is 2, and when we go out to dinner, and my nephew, honey, by the time we get done, that flow, the table, you got to pull everything that he can reach his little hands to, he is touching. He don't care what it is. He don't care if it's a knife, a fork, a cup full of water. He don't care. He reaching for it. That's what they do. But it just sort of put a exclamation point on the whole moment of, can you really handle another one? And then her husband made an observation about the oldest daughter, who we know they're already having some issues with. He said, I grew up in a big family. I think he said it might have been 5 or 6 of them. And he was the oldest. And he said, I just remember how I felt. That the babies always got the attention. The younger ones always got the attention. And I just know how I felt. And, I just don't want her to feel that way and feel left out. Which I think is part of what's going on with her anyway. I don't think that's all of it. But I do think that having her being the oldest of 3, and then with them adopting the baby and him being the boy, I do think there's a lot with that. But that daggone Bruin is a cutie patootie now. Oh, he's just as cute as he can be, and he's starting to talk now. He's kept wanting the ball. There was a balloon up in the ceiling that looked like a ball, and he just kept saying ball, ball, ball. He was a cutie, and even when Brandy's husband walked in, he knows his daddy. He put his hands up. He was happy to see him. But I know what your heart is telling you to do, Brandy. But you also have to know what your bandwidth is. You have to really be clear on what your bandwidth, what you can handle. But I know what your heart wants you to do, and I just feel like you have the money. Get a, I don't know. I don't want to say just get a nanny like that's the answer to everything, because I know that's not the answer to everything. But if you want to if you want to adopt this other sibling, you guys have the means. I think you should do it if you can make it work, but I don't think you should do it at the detriment to your health. Now, let me just, I guess that's the best way I could put that. Then we see where Travis is planning a 50th birthday party, honey. Now, it's funny because they always seem to be filming during Travis's birthday. So, of course, we have all of these great episodes of Travis's birthday. Last year, she did a big birthday party, and the theme was like college frat boy. Now, we know that they're different. It's a different college experience on the PWI versus the HBCU fraternity sorority situation, but neither here nor there. It was a cute party. This year they're doing she's doing midlife crisis, so, and it sounds like it's a huge party that he's invited. Like, they've lost count at 600 and something people, right? But I mean, 50 is one of those parties. It's a milestone. It's a milestone party. So, but in the midst of this conversation, we find out, remember last year, see, I didn't realize they were setting us up last week. Last week when they were talking about her, Travis's dad being in Thailand, I didn't know they were setting us up for the annual trip. So what we found out today is, on this episode, is that Travis's dad is still there, and Travis was like, "Look, I don't know how many more times he's gonna be in Thailand. So if you want to go to Thailand, you might want to go on and make this trip with me, but I'm going to be going on business." And she said, "Well, I would love to just take a friend with me so that while you're on business, I can do other things and I'm not sitting in a hotel waiting for you." And that turned into her inviting the girls and turned it into like a little girls trip. So she invited everybody, and Cameron was like, "Wow, I'm shocked. I'm happy and surprised that she invited me to go along, but I'm definitely looking forward to it," and she's going to go. So that's their little trip, and I guess they're going to leave for Thailand next week, honey. So who is calling me? Don't they know I'm making a video? Y'all, let me turn my ringer off. Good Lord. You know how you get in these group chats, honey. And I'm in about 5 group chats, so that could be. Anyway. So, the new Carrie is going out to dinner with her husband. Now, look, they seem to be having some real issues. And it seems to be deep. What we saw when they were going out to dinner, this is the second time we've seen them out to dinner. This is the second time they've gotten to a little spat. Now, this time, I felt like Carrie was being a little nasty. She wanted to talk about her business, and he kind of wanted to talk about some other things. Now, I don't know how much she talks about her business. I don't know if he just tired of her talking about the business, or if just in that moment he had other things he wanted to talk to her about. But he was sort of cutting her off. I'm not going to lie. He was. But then when he started talking about his mom, it sounds like maybe his mother might have had some health issues, and he was saying how she's back to walking a certain amount of, and he was saying kilometers, so I'm assuming she's in a country that doesn't have the metric system, because nobody who lives in the United States talks like that. Nobody uses kilometers and meters. We use the metric system. So, she said, "I don't really care about your mother." And I was like, well, damn. I was like, that's a little deep. And you could see the look on his face was like, well, damn. And she said, "I mean, I've been trying to talk to you about my business, and you keep cutting me off, and now you want to talk about your mother, and I don't care about your mother." I understood why she was frustrated, but it just came off really harsh to tell your husband you don't care about his mama, a.k.a. your mother-in-law. So then he was like, "Well, you've been talking about your business the whole time, and I just want to, I want to talk about some other things." And she said, "Well, when you were starting your businesses, you talked about your business 24/7. I just want to talk about mine. Like, is that a problem?" So I feel like this dinner we sort of came in the middle of some other issues that they are dealing with. But it came off making Carrie look really rude, where I feel like if we knew the whole story, it may not look that bad. But in that moment, just in that snapshot, it did come off making Carrie look kind of bad, because I'm like, dang, that was kind of harsh. But on the flip side, if she feels like he's not respecting her and respecting what she's doing with her business the same way she respected him when he was doing his, when it was the other way around, I can understand her frustration. So, but again, at the end of the day, it just seems like they are having some really serious issues with communication and where they are in their marriage. I wish them the best, honey, but I don't know. It ain't looking too good. Anyway, y'all let me know. Drop it in my comments. Peace.